The wind was dry and hot, the kind of heat that clung to your skin and whispered that nothing living should exist here. Dust blew across the cracked earth like whispers from the past. Jack Renner stood at the edge of his small farm, 2 solar panels humming softly behind him, his water tank grumbling with slow fatigue. Life here wasn't much. But it was his. He hadn't seen another soul in years. His days were routine. Wake up. Check crops. Fix something broken. Eat. Stare into the emptiness. Repeat. He'd chosen this life after too much noise in the past. Too many orders barked. Too many friends lost. Here, no one could ask anything of him. Here, he could simply be. But that day, everything changed. It started with the shimmer. Jack was tightening the wires on his northern panel when he saw it, a streak across the pale sky, not red like a meteor but silver, smooth, almost graceful. It didn't burn, it shimmered. Fast, quiet, straight down. He held his breath. Then came the boom. A deep sound, low and far, the kind that didn't just hit your ears, it touched your bones. Jack dropped his tools and grabbed his coat and goggles, throwing them on as he leapt onto his old desert bike. The engine coughed, whined, then caught. He followed the smoke. The ride took 30 minutes through shifting sands and broken ground. Rocks jutted up like buried skeletons. Finally, he crested a rise and saw the crater. In the center sat a capsule. Not large. Just big enough for one person. Sleek, metallic, glowing faintly with soft blue lines. No markings. No language. No insignia. Jack slowed his bike, parked on the edge, and approached carefully. The sand crunched under his boots. He saw the window. Faint and smeared with dust, but behind it, a face. A child. Jack's heart stumbled in his chest. He knelt and brushed the glass. The skin was lavender, the hair like spun silver, eyes closed. A soft tapping came from inside, weak and irregular. He didn't think. He pulled out his toolkit, hands shaking. The hatch was sealed, but the design had an emergency manual release. With effort, he found it. The moment he triggered it, the door hissed open and cool air escaped like a sigh. She tumbled into his arms. Light. Too light. Cold. Jack cradled her carefully. Her breathing was shallow, skin too pale, suit torn in several places. It looked like armor but soft. Flexible. Alien. Her eyes flicked open. Silver. They locked with his for a single heartbeat. Then her lips moved, silent. She reached up, trembling, and pressed her hand to his chest, right over his heart. Then she collapsed. Jack didn't feel fear. He felt something else. Something warm. He wrapped her in his coat and lifted her onto the bike. The capsule blinked once, then went dark. Far above, unseen by human eyes, a satellite locked coordinates. He whispered, "Hang on. I'm taking you home." His house was modest. One room, rusted corners, patched roof. But it had warmth. Jack laid her on the bed and grabbed his medical scanner. Outdated tech, but functional. Heart rate, weak. Temperature, low. Species, unknown. He stared at the display. Then at her. She looked no older than 10. Hands curled as if in a dream. He brought water to her lips, but she didn't respond. He pulled a blanket over her and sat in the chair beside the bed. Night fell. Stars crept across the window. Jack didn't sleep. It was midnight when he heard it. A voice. Not aloud. Inside. Jack. His eyes snapped open. The girl hadn't moved. Jack Renner. It was soft, not in words, but feeling. Like thoughts brushing his own. Like a whisper in still water. He stared at her. Am I losing my mind? Then the voice again, not sound, just thought. Please don't let them find me. His hands curled on the armrest. I don't know who you are, he whispered. But I'm not giving you up. The air warmed, subtly. The morning sun spilled into the room. Jack was heating tea when he turned around and froze. She was sitting up. Awake. Alert. Silent. He stared. She stared back. You heard me? She asked. Her voice was soft. Unsure. Jack nodded slowly. Yeah. In my dream. I wasn't dreaming, she said. I was reaching. Jack set down the kettle and sat beside her. Who are you? Where did you come from? She looked down at her hands. I don't remember everything. Voices. Cold. Needles. Then, you. Light. She hesitated. Do you have a name? She closed her eyes for a long time. Sorry, she said finally. Sorry. It's the name I remember. Jack blinked. Well, okay then. Sorry, I'm Jack. She nodded. I know. How? She pointed to her temple. When I touched you. I saw it. Not thoughts. Just, feelings. Names. Colors. Safety. He didn't speak. I feel safe with you, she said. Something in him shifted. By mid-afternoon, Sari was walking slowly through the house. She moved carefully, touching books, smelling fruit, pausing at the cracked radio. She stopped at the window. Looking for something? Jack asked. She nodded. They're coming. Jack's stomach sank. Who? The ones who made me. They want me back. They don't want me to choose. Or feel. Or live free. Jack joined her by the window. The desert stretched endless. They'll have to go through me first. She looked up at him. Her eyes shone. Thank you. That night, Jack sat on the porch with his old rifle across his knees. Sari was asleep inside, her breath steady. His farm had never felt smaller. Never felt more like a battleground. In deep space, the hunter ship adjusted course. The satellite had confirmed it, the key had been activated. Target located. Connection established. Do we engage? A soldier asked. The commander narrowed his eyes behind a dark visor. No, he said. Let the bond grow. The deeper the bond, the sharper the pain when we break it. Just before dawn, Jack checked on Sari. She lay under his blanket, skin glowing with subtle color again. She stirred. Then he saw it. A faint glow on her back. A mark. A symbol. He leaned closer. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Jack stepped back. Opened his old trunk. Pulled out a scanner. The symbol lit up under its light. Data flooded the screen. Shapes, lines, a map. Beep. Warning, classified signal detected. Jack shut off the scanner. Sari sat up. Her voice a whisper. They can track me through it. It's like a leash. Jack nodded. Then we cut it. He dug through his parts bin and pulled out a signal jammer. Rusty, old, but functional. He rigged a coil and gently placed it over the mark. The glow flickered. Sari winced. Then it stopped. You okay? She nodded. Better. Then the radio hissed. Return the girl. Or be erased. Jack raised his gun. Sari grabbed his sleeve. They know. Let them come, Jack said. And above, the hunters were already descending. Sari sat at the edge of Jack's bed, a mug of tea warming her small hands. She hadn't spoken in a while, but her eyes were alert, scanning every inch of the small house. Jack watched her from across the room as he checked the rifle for the third time. The message on the radio had chilled him more than he admitted. He'd expected trouble. But not a direct threat. Not so soon. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded but didn't look up. The jammer helped. The mark's silent now. But they felt the change. "They know I'm no longer blind. Can they still track you?" "They will try. But not through the mark anymore. Now they follow our steps." Jack exhaled slowly. He wasn't a strategist, just a man with a few weapons, a strong will, and a stubborn streak. But for her, he'd fight anyone. They moved out before sunset. The wind was calmer then, and Jack hoped their trail would be harder to follow. Sari wore one of his oversized coats. The sleeves hung past her fingers, but she didn't complain. She clutched a small sack of food in one hand and a scanner in the other. They crossed the southern ridge, into the old mining zone. It was half buried under dust, filled with rusted beams and shattered machinery. "We can hide here tonight," Jack said. "Deep shafts. Lots of metal. Might mask us." Sari glanced upward. "They're searching. They're closer. I can feel them." "How?" "I don't know. Like echoes in my head." Jack set up a crude camp between two collapsed loaders. He dug a shallow trench, lit a smokeless heat stick, and watched as Sari curled up near the warmth. "They called you a key," he said. "What does that mean?" Sari touched her chest. "I think I hold memories. From others. Maybe many others. When I sleep, I dream things that feel too big. Too old. Too sharp. Do they belong to you?" "They belong to someone like me. Or, many someones. It's like I was made to carry them." Jack stirred the embers. "Do you remember anything useful?" "Pieces. Broken things. But something is trying to open. And when it does, I'll know." That night, Sari woke with a cry. Jack was up in seconds. "What is it?" "A vision. Burning skies. Falling cities. A voice saying, she must survive. A warning." She nodded. "I think I was created to carry it. Not just knowledge. Maybe a way to stop something." Jack listened in silence. The wind moaned across the old beams. "If that's true," he said, "they won't stop." "I know. Then we run. But smart. We send a warning. Earth needs to know." By morning, they were already moving again. Sari guided them through the narrow valleys with uncanny instinct. They passed a buried comms relay. Jack salvaged a portable antenna from it. At midday, they found shelter inside a caved-in silo. Sari spotted something embedded in the wall, a shard of alien alloy. She touched it and winced. "Memories," she whispered. "Not mine. But familiar. Someone stored data here." Jack handed her his portable tablet. She pressed the shard to it. The screen blinked, then flickered. A star map appeared. "Earth," Sari said, pointing to a blue dot. "The others, already gone. Gone. Burned. Consumed. Empty." Jack stared. "What could do that?" "I don't know. But it's coming. And they made me to remember it. To warn. We need to transmit this." "There's an old tower near the southern cliffs," Sari said. "It still has power. We go at night. Safer." But the hunters didn't wait. That evening, as shadows stretched long and thin, Jack's sensor blinked red. Movement. He pulled Sorry behind a broken beam. Stay quiet. Footsteps crunched sand outside. Heavy. Methodical. Then silence. Jack peeked around the corner. 3 figures. Armored. Tall. Weapons glowing. They found us, Sorry whispered. How? They're linked to the mark. Even quiet, it whispers. Can you block them? Not completely. Jack scanned the walls. There'd been a tunnel. Old mining access. He found the grate. In here. Now. He pulled it open. Sorry crawled inside. Jack followed, replacing the cover. Above, the hunters spread out. Target was here, one growled. Scan deeper. Inside the tunnel, Jack and Sorry crawled for what felt like hours. They emerged into an abandoned chamber. Silent. Dark. Safe. You okay? Sorry nodded. But her eyes glowed faintly. She looked at her hand. I felt something when they were close. Like, I could touch their thoughts. Only fear. They're afraid of you. Of what I might become. Jack gripped his rifle. Then let's make them regret hunting you. The chamber was cooler than the rest of the mine. Ancient pipes ran across the walls like skeletal veins, and Jack lit a few small heat sticks to break the darkness. Sorry leaned against a rusted beam, her head bowed, eyes glowing faintly like the pulse of a dying star. Jack kept watch. He didn't speak much. But he never strayed far from her. It's getting stronger, Sorry whispered at last. Jack looked up from where he was adjusting the charged cell in his rifle. What is? The pressure in my head. Like someone's knocking. Trying to be let out. But it's not one voice. It's hundreds. Maybe more. Overlapping. Memories. She nodded. But not like a dream. It feels like walking through a city of ghosts. Jack set the rifle aside and moved closer. Are they hurting you? No, not yet. Just showing pieces. They know you now. They trust you. He blinked. Who does? The ones inside. Jack didn't pretend to understand, but he stayed by her. Silence stretched, long and deep, until Sorry lifted her head and asked, Can you trust someone you barely know? Jack didn't answer right away. Sometimes, he said finally, that's the only way to survive. That night, Sorry touched the wall. Her fingers glowed slightly, like they were drawing light from the stone itself. What are you doing? Jack asked. Remembering. Suddenly, the wall shimmered. Faint symbols emerged, like frost on glass. Jack stepped back as the symbols twisted and rearranged into a swirling pattern. A map, Sorry said. Of where I came from. You know it now? Yes. The name is Selthery. It was a planet. Our last stronghold. It fell. Fell to what? Something that feeds. Not just on life. On energy. Thought. Purpose. Jack frowned. A weapon? Maybe. Or something worse. Something ancient. Sorry touched her temple. I saw it in the dream. A void opening above Selthery. We fired everything. Ships, suns, gravity wells. Nothing stopped it. So they encoded what they could into living hosts. Sent them out. I was one. Jack processed this slowly. You're a data vault. A seed. A warning. A survivor. The next morning, Jack led them through a side tunnel that opened onto a canyon path. They traveled quickly, Sorry with the tablet, Jack with his rifle. They avoided open ground, followed the shade. By midday, they reached an old communications substation. It was buried halfway in the rock, scorched by storms. Jack pried open a side hatch. Inside, a mess of wires, dust, and dead systems. But one core still blinked with life. Sari pressed her hand to it. The lights flickered. The system hummed. "Link me," she said. Jack connected the alien tablet. The screen flashed. A voice played, "Alien, female, shaky. This is Envoy Salen of the Selthari Ark. To whomever finds this, we failed. The breach consumed our last defenses. We scattered memory cores into the void. They will look like children. But they are not. They are our final hope. Protect them. Believe them. They hold the map. They hold the end." Jack looked at Sari. She stood tall, pale hair drifting with energy. "We need to send this to Earth." "The tower," she said. "Tonight," Jack agreed. "We move." But as they prepared to leave, the air changed. Jack froze. "Sensors. They're pinging." Sari turned sharply. "They found us again." "How?" "The jammer. Not the mark. Me. I'm waking up. They can feel it." Jack cursed under his breath. "Exit routes. There's a side vent near the cliffs. Narrow but leads to the canyon drop. Go. I'll cover. You said you wouldn't leave me." Jack met her eyes. "And I won't. I just need 10 seconds. Sari stared at him, then nodded and ran. Jack waited. Outside, armored hunters emerged from the haze. "Target inside," one said. "Memory activation nearing threshold. Engage. Retrieve. Destroy protector." Jack fired the first shot. It hit a visor, cracked it. He darted left, ducked behind a console. Blasts ripped through the station. Jack tossed a flash charge, then ran for the vent. He slid in, hands scraping, chased by fire and smoke. The vent dropped into the canyon just as the night deepened. Sari was waiting. "You made it," she breathed. "You doubted me?" "Never." She hugged him without thinking. Jack froze. Then slowly, he returned it. "You okay?" "I will be." "We keep moving." They reached the southern cliffs just before dawn. Above them loomed the old comms tower. Jack checked his rifle. "One way or another, they'll hear us. And then? Then we run again. Or we fight. Depends on what Earth decides. I hope they listen. I hope they believe." As the sun rose behind them, the hunters regrouped. The leader removed his helmet. His face was pale, marked with old circuitry. "The key is fully awakening," he said. "Soon the human will unlock the final gate. Should we intercept?" "No, let them send the message. Let them gather hope. The more they believe, the worse it will hurt when we tear it all away." Back at the tower, Sari and Jack prepared the transmission. "Ready?" Jack asked. Sari nodded. "Broadcasting." The message played. The stars listened. The signal tower stood like a broken sentinel at the edge of the world. Jagged steel jutted from its spine, rusted panels flapped in the wind, and antennae bent toward the sky like skeletal fingers praying to forgotten gods. Jack climbed first, his boots finding the old rungs carefully, rifle slung tight to his back. Sari followed close, light on her feet, her fingers occasionally brushing the metal as if drawing strength from the past. At the top, the view opened into forever. Dunes and scorched plains, rock canyons and dried rivers, a map of quiet ruin. Above, stars bled into morning. Jack pried open the transmitter access. Dust spilled out. Insects scattered. But the core was intact. "Will it work?" Sari asked, eyes narrowing against the wind. Enough to scream, maybe, Jack muttered. Help me set the tablet. Sorry connected the alien device. Lights flickered. An ancient hum groaned awake. Message ready, she said. Jack nodded. Do it. Sorry pressed her hand against the console. Her veins lit faintly beneath her skin. The air shimmered. A pulse burst from the tower, silent but strong, invisible to the eye but roaring across stars. It's out, Sorry whispered. The warning, it's gone. Earth knows now. Jack stepped back, wind tugging at his coat. Then we hold until someone answers. They descended as the first shadows of dawn stretched long and thin. Jack led Sorry into the shelter of a fallen comms dish nearby. They rested there, huddled close. For a while, neither spoke. I feel lighter, Sorry said eventually. Like something inside me has moved. You sent the message, Jack replied. Maybe that was your purpose. Or maybe, just the beginning. She placed her hand on his. By midday, the air turned sharp. Jack felt it before the sensors pinged. A pressure in the bones. An old soldier's instinct. They're coming again, he said. Sorry nodded. They felt the pulse. They know what we did. We can't fight them here. We don't have to. We run. But not aimless. There's a ship. East. In the old canyon. I saw it in the memories. They buried it. I can find it. Jack didn't question her. They packed quickly. What little they had fit in a sack. Sorry led the way this time, cutting through the ruins of wind farms and scorched storage silos. Jack moved behind, eyes on every ridge, every flicker of motion. In the distance, black figures crested the dunes. We don't have long, he muttered. The canyon was a broken scar in the desert. Twisted metal, bones of old machines, and half-buried structures. Sorry moved with purpose now. Her eyes distant. Focused. This way, she said, descending into the gloom. Jack followed. Near the base, they found it, a sleek vessel, clearly alien, sunken halfway into the ground. Vines and sand wrapped it like a grave. Sorry pressed her palm to the side. The ship responded. Lights bloomed softly. The hatch hissed. It remembers me, she said quietly. Can it fly? Yes. Enough for orbit. Maybe more. Then we wait. Set camp here. Fight if we have to. That night, Sorry dreamed again. Voices. Memories. Not words, but visions. Selthery burning. A council arguing. A chamber where light became flesh. A final command. Protect the core. Anchor it in love. Sorry woke with tears. Jack was already up, keeping watch. You were crying, he said gently. I saw them. The ones who made me. They didn't just want to preserve data. They wanted to preserve feeling. Memory. Love. They believed that if I could feel it, I might survive. And did you? Not until you. Jack looked away. Then said, we don't always get to choose who we save. But sometimes, someone shows up, and we just know. The next day, the hunters arrived. 3 of them. Black armor. Silent. Efficient. They circled the canyon rim. Jack fired first. A shot to the knee. One staggered. They returned fire. Jack ducked behind a boulder. Shards of stone sliced past his face. Sorry, the ship, he shouted. Prepping engines. Jack ran for the left flank. Drew them away. His coat caught fire. He tore it off. One hunter closed in. Jack swung his rifle like a club. Metal met metal. Sparks. Pain. Then Sari's voice echoed through the canyon, amplified by the ship. Leave him. Face me. The hunters turned. Sari stood at the ramp of the ship, her body glowing. Her hair lifted by unseen energy. You don't want him, she said. You want what I carry. Correct, the lead hunter replied. Then take it from me. She extended her arms. A pulse burst from her chest. Pure memory. Raw emotion. Grief. Joy. Terror. Love. The hunters staggered. One screamed. Two fell. The third fled. Jack crawled to her. What was that? I gave them what they fear. I showed them what they erased. I remembered. Inside the ship, the controls were alien, but Sari understood them. Jack patched his arm, still bleeding. They sat in silence. Where will you go? He asked. Earth. They need to see me. Hear me. Know what's coming. Will you come back? She touched his hand. I promise. Jack tried to smile. It broke. Don't cry, she whispered. You gave me more than safety. You gave me a reason to live. What if they don't believe you? Then I'll remind them. Just like I reminded the hunters. As the ship lifted, the earth shook. Jack stood at the edge of the canyon, watching the light disappear into the stars. Alone. But not empty. Ak didn't sleep for days after Sari left. He spent his nights beside the signal tower, its steel bones groaning under the weight of the wind, his eyes on the stars. He knew where her ship had gone, he tracked it on his tablet for as long as it stayed in range. Then it was gone, beyond the dust and atmosphere, a dot streaking toward hope. She had promised to return. And Jack, for the first time in years, chose to believe someone. On the third night, the wind changed. It came not with heat, but with a low hum. A pulse. Jack sat up. His sensors flickered red. Motion. Multiple. He checked the ridge. 6 signatures. No, he breathed. Hunters. Again. He packed quickly. The mine entrance was still intact, and he'd reinforced the shelter there. He sprinted under the starlight, ducking low, memories of Sari burning in his chest. He made it just as the first plasma blast scorched the sand behind him. Inside the shelter, Jack activated the jammer again. It wouldn't stop them, but it would slow their precision. He knew the dance by now. This wasn't a fight to win. This was a fight to endure. Meanwhile, Sari soared through dark space. The stars were quieter out here. Her ship responded to her thoughts, more than her touch. She sat at the control ring, arms wrapped around her knees, listening to the ancient echo of memory locked within her. They were not just recordings. They were feelings. Lives. Fears. And decisions that cost galaxies. She felt the pull of them. She felt their weight. But she had learned something they hadn't anticipated. Love changed the equation. She wasn't just a vault anymore. She was someone. Someone who had loved and been loved. And that made her dangerous. Earth's outer defense net caught her signal at 0400, planetary time. 3 cruisers intercepted her descent. Unidentified vessel, state your origin. Sari didn't speak through radio. Instead, she activated her ship's external memory projection system. A wave of thought hit the cruisers. Fire. The void. The fall of Selthery. The final hope. Stand down, one pilot whispered. She's one of them. Permission was granted. She landed in a restricted zone, alone. Waiting for Earth to decide what came next. Back on Delta 9, Jack fought through the third assault wave. He was bruised, bleeding, but breathing. He knew they were trying to break him. Force him into despair. Isolate him. Erase the memory of what he had held. But every time he faltered, he remembered her voice. I promise. Earth's leaders met behind sealed walls. Some wanted to contain her. Study her. Others listened. Sari stood before them not as a child, but as a living monument to a species lost. Her hair shimmered silver in the artificial light. Her eyes held galaxies. She spoke. You think your warships will be enough. They won't. You think you have time. You don't. But what you have that no other species had, is a second chance. Because I remembered. And because someone loved me enough to fight for that memory. The room fell silent. Then the oldest among them, a general with tear lines etched into his skin, stood. You carry more than memory, child. You carry our future. Preparations began. Sari helped build the signal net. Earth began to respond. But Sari's heart remained restless. I need to go back, she said one morning. The hunters, the general asked. No, someone who didn't leave me when I was nothing but a question. He needs to know that promise meant something. We'll escort you. No, Sari said, softly but firmly. I have to go alone. On Delta 9, Jack was losing ground. His ammo was low. His food was gone. He stood atop a dune, rifle in one hand, knife in the other. Below him, the last hunter approached. Its armor was scorched, cracked. Its weapon hung like an executioner's blade. You failed, it said in a voice like smoke. Maybe, Jack said, panting. But I didn't stop. She is gone. She is alive. And so am I. Not for long. It raised its weapon. Jack didn't flinch. He just closed his eyes. The explosion didn't come. Instead, a sharp hum split the sky. Jack opened his eyes. Above them, a ship hovered. Gleaming silver. Alive. The hunter turned, scanning. No. Sari dropped from the ship like a comet. Her body glowed with ancient power. You don't belong here, she said. We made you. And you forgot the most important part. What part? The part that chose. She raised her hand. A wave of memory, raw and infinite, erupted. It struck the hunter like lightning. It screamed, fell to its knees, and shattered into dust. Jack dropped to one knee, exhausted. Sari ran to him. You came back, he breathed. You waited. Always. She helped him up. We're not done, are we? No, she said, smiling, we're just getting started. Months passed. Jack and Sari built a new station on Delta 9. Not just for defense, but for memory. Sari uploaded what she knew, slowly and safely. Humans came. Scientists, poets, children. They listened. They believed. Jack was called father by many now. But he only answered when Sari used it. And every time she did, he smiled. Because she wasn't just a message anymore. She was home. One night, Sari stood by the window, watching the stars. They'll come again, won't they? She asked. Probably. And we'll fight. Not just fight, Jack said. We'll show them why memory matters. Why love matters. Do you think love is enough? Jack stepped beside her. It was enough to bring you back. It's enough to keep going. Above them, far away, something dark stirred in the void. But now, the stars had a voice. A child once abandoned. A man once broken. Together, they carried the memory of a lost people. And a future still waiting to be written.